Think about the last decision you made. A small one. Maybe what you ordered. Maybe what you clicked. Maybe who you texted first this morning. Now ask yourself honestly, did you decide that? Or did you just become aware that it was already decided? Because here's what nobody tells you. By the time a thought reaches your mind and feels like your choice, it's already done. The brain moved first. You arrived second. And then you told yourself a story about why it was your idea. You've done this 1,000 times. Pick a restaurant and say you felt like Italian. You end an argument and tell yourself you chose to stay calm. You scroll past something uncomfortable and call it just not interesting. But were any of those choices, or were they just the first thing that surfaced and you signed your name to it? Think about the last time you changed your mind mid-sentence. You started saying one thing, and by the end, something else came out. You didn't plan that shift. You didn't even see it coming. It just happened. And you followed it. Wait, that wasn't you? That was something running underneath you? Something older and faster and far less polite. In 1983, a neuroscientist named Benjamin Libet ran an experiment. He asked people to move their wrist whenever they felt like it, spontaneously, freely. He tracked their brain activity and watched a clock. Here's what he found. The brain showed readiness to act about half a second before the person consciously decided to move. Half a second doesn't sound like much, but that's the gap. That's the space between your brain beginning a decision and you thinking you made it. You weren't the author, you were the narrator. Reading aloud from something already written, the decision was already made. You were just catching up to it. Your brain processes around 11 million bits of information every second. You are consciously aware of roughly 40 of them. 40. Out of 11 million, everything else, every micro-assessment, emotional flicker, every pattern your brain recognizes is happening without your permission and knowledge. And here is the part that should stop you cold. That invisible processing is what's driving most of what you do. The conscious mind, the part talking to itself right now, the part that thinks it's watching, is more of a press secretary than a president. It explains decisions already made. It defends positions it didn't choose. It gives logical reasons for things that were never logical to begin with. You defend opinions you can't fully explain. You feel certain about things you've never examined. You reach for the same emotional patterns in arguments, in relationships, in how you see yourself, not because you chose them. Because something chose them for you long ago, and you've been operating on that code ever since. Notice something right now. The thought you just had, did you invite it? Did you decide to think it? Or did it just appear? You don't generate thoughts. Thoughts arrive. You observe them. You react to them. You sometimes believe they're you. But you are not your thoughts any more than a river is the rain that fills it. And yet you've built an entire identity around them. You call yourself rational. You call yourself self-aware. You say, I know why I do things. But when was the last time a thought surprised you? When did you feel something and didn't know why? When was the last time your own reaction confused you? That confusion, that gap between you and your own mind, is not a glitch. It's the truth. You're just noticing it now. Here's what this means for you specifically. Every time you were sure, every time you felt confident in a decision, every time you said no, this is what I actually think, there was a version of you underneath that had already landed there. And the conscious you just arrived looked around and said, yes, this seems right. Not because you reasoned your way there, because your brain had already gone there and you recognized it as familiar, as safe as you. And you called it a choice. The feeling of deciding is real. But it's coming after the fact. It's the echo, not the voice. Now here's where it shifts. If you can't control the first thought, the automatic one, the one that just arrives, what can you do? You can notice. That's it. It's the whole thing. Awareness is not control. Don't mistake it for that. But it is something. It's the moment between the thought arriving and you becoming it. It's the space where something like a choice can exist. Not a full choice, not clean freedom, but a small interruption in an otherwise automatic sequence. Most people never find that space. Not because it's hidden, it's because they're moving too fast to see it. Because they were already convinced they were in control the whole time, so they never thought to look. That's what awareness changes. Not the thought, not the pattern. Just your relationship to it. Just enough distance to ask, is this mine? Or is this just the next thing my brain was going to do anyway? That question, slow, quiet, a little uncomfortable, is the only thing that makes a difference. Not certainty, not control. It's just the willingness to pause at the edge of a thought and wonder where it came from. You are not as in control as you think. It is not a criticism. It's not an insult. It's just the thing that's true. And that most people spend a lifetime avoiding. The brain is not your enemy, but it is not your servant either. It is something older than language, faster than reason, and far more committed to its own patterns than to yours. You can know this. You can live with this. You can even slowly and perfectly begin to work with it instead of against it. But first, you have to stop pretending the voice in your head is always you. If the next thought isn't yours, will you even notice it?